at this point.
All right, 4% higher for Laurus Labs, but remember from the highs we have seen a near 40-45% decline on that counter itself. Let's get to the management as we promised. We have with us Kirloskar Pneumatic. They posted a strong set of performance in their third quarter. The revenue is up 37%. The EBITDA has also more than doubled. The order book of the company at 1,300 crore rupees, which is higher by about 100 crores from the previous quarter, which is the second quarter. We have with us Suhas Kolhatkar, who's the VP and CFO at the company, joining in. Thanks a lot, Suhas, for joining in. Just a couple of questions. First up, if you could give us what the execution timeline of your 1,300 crore order book is. And secondly, what was the contribution of exports in your third quarter? What does that take your 9-month number to? You had a target of 150 crores for this year.
Yeah, hi, Mangalam. It's nice to be back on this show again. We posted over 880 crores sales for YTD. The growth came from exports, and as indicated in the last quarter, we did achieve 150 crores exports by end of the third quarter. So today, compared to previous year of just 22 crores, in 9 months, we have done about 150 plus crores in these 9 months. So a substantial growth has come from the export business.
Okay.
While,
sure. Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
No, while we see overall growth in the domestic market also, but the export has contributed substantially to our growth story, where we have almost 41% growth over the previous year.
Okay, so 41% growth is what you're seeing in the export market. Can you tell us a little bit about the domestic market growth as well? You cater to a lot of sectors: steel, cement, pharmaceuticals, railways, and now we're seeing a big pickup, in investments and capex across these spaces. What is the kind of growth that you're looking at? Your overall revenues growth was almost 40% in the quarter gone by, but particularly from the domestic market, what's the growth looking like by the end of FY23, and what are you projecting for FY24?
For FY23, I stick to our guidance, which was given in the last quarter also. We should be able to see about 20% growth for the whole year. While exports orders have been mostly executed, though we have few orders in the pipeline for the execution in the fourth quarter, the rest of the growth will come from the domestic market. We see a YOY growth in the third quarter in the domestic sales close to about 13 to 14%.
Okay. One of the segments that you do cater to is railways, and we've seen a lot of impetus towards the entire railway sector, a lot of order wins, and not to mention that we will probably hear more this week from the budget as well. Can you just tell us what your experience has been with the entire railway sector, say in the past fiscal? How much have you procured in terms of incremental orders? How much do you expect to procure? And is that a huge growth segment for you all?
Well, little correction on that, if I say so. Kirloskar Pneumatic is predominantly a compressor manufacturing company, and 95% of our turnover comes from the compression segment. So though railway is one of the key markets for us, we have a less than 5% share in our total revenue coming from the railway market. This year, railways have really, the business from the railways have given us some growth in terms of supply of gears and pinions. And we also supply some types of air compressors. The real growth has come from the oil and gas sector, because that's the sector where we concentrate on. The compressors, the air compressor sectors for us has shown little degrowth, in the sense that the requirement of compressors for the oxygen generation has come down as the COVID came under control. But so far as the refrigeration compressors is concerned, we had a good pickup coming up from our cold chain and ice plants market. So that's been the contributing factor in the growth, apart from the CNG market, as well as the gas systems or the gas packaging in the overseas market.
On this itself, I wanted to know, Suhas, you had earlier mentioned that there is potential for 8,000 compressor packages in the gas business. How much are you aiming to get there? You have 30% market share, so ideally it should be around 2,400 compressors. Refrigeration, you have around 50-55% market share. Where does that go? And in air compressors itself, screw compressors are 75% of the market, but that doesn't account for too much in your revenues. Where does that number go?
Okay, overall numbers, we do about 20 to 25% in the air compressors where the screw and the reciprocating compressors come in. About 30 to 35% come from our refrigeration market, and about 40 to 45% comes from our gas market. Now, if you look at the gas compression, the 8,000 numbers that you talked about, this is emerging out of the 9th and 10th round of CGD cleared by the PNGRB. The 11th round has also come up, and the actual numbers of gas station installations is yet to happen. Okay. Now, there is a set pipeline or the set timeline within which these installations are required to happen. Roughly 1,000 numbers from 9th and 10th and 500 numbers from the 11th round are expected to get commissioned in next 7 to 8 years. I'm talking about annual quantities. Okay. So about 1,500 numbers annually will get installed. And there are two types of compressors coming in the gas market. So 8,000 numbers which we talk about basically comes from the mother station and the booster station. Okay. Mother station is where you get the gas directly fed from the GAIL pipeline. And where you do not have a pipeline connection, you get a cascade filled with our compressors. And then you have this cascade located at the stations where the gas distribution is required to happen. And where we supply a booster station. Now, we have entered into this market. Our first two booster compressors have already been installed. So that is where we now see a further growth coming in from the...
So, Mr. Kolhatkar, do you see any scope to raise your margins beyond these current levels? Because I think for the last couple of years, your margin has been in this band of 13%, 13.2, 13.5. And now with the triggers that you just spoke about, is there scope to increase your margin band?
What we believe is that if you look at our segment results, we have been posting about 18 to 19% margins for the compression segment. There are a couple of segments which are pulling us down, which are non-reportable segments. We are trying to ensure that how do we get these segments where the costs get under control, or we monetize these segments. So that is something where at KPC level, Kirloskar Pneumatic level, we will be able to push our margins eventually. Since we are coming up with the new products, there could be some impact initially, but going forward, we will be able to improve our margins to the level that we aspire to achieve, close to 18%, which is our major compression segment margin.
Okay, all right. So we're going to leave it on that note. Thanks very much for joining in and speaking to us. Well, we need to take a short break, but before we do that, I just wanted to revisit the Laurus Labs stock just simply because of their guidance for FY23, where they have maintained their FY23 guidance for strong double-digit revenue growth and stable EBITDA margins. They've already done around 33% in terms of revenue growth for 9 months as per their presentation, with EBITDA margins of around 28%. So this is what they're guiding for in FY23. Remember, last quarter, they had cut their revenue guidance, saying that they won't be able to achieve that $1 billion revenue guidance. And that was taken slightly negatively by the markets, but nonetheless, the street seems to be quite happy with the performance. But like Mangalam mentioned, it is a significant correction from the 52-week high for Laurus Labs. So it's a little bit of an upside, but a long way to go to get above those 600 levels when you talk about the highs that they've seen. We'll take a short break, but we'll put the focus on Adani Group stocks on the other side. Stay tuned. That's the big story of today.